Hello and welcome to the Consistory of the COELC YouTube channel. I'm your host for this video, Reverend Zabel of St John's Evangelical Lutheran Church located in Dalby, Queensland, Australia. On today's video, I want to do a follow-up video to the one that I did on Christmas on whether Jesus was born on the 25th of December. Now in that video, I talked about how the Church Fathers determined the birth of Jesus on the 25th of December based on the Day of Atonement, or the Jewish festival of Yom Kippur. That Zechariah was a high priest, that he'd been told by the angel Gabriel while in the Holy of Holies that he was going to go home and conceive John the Baptist, that then he went home, he conceived, that then dates John the Baptist's nativity on the 24th of June, and we know from the book of Luke that John the Baptist was conceived 6 months before Jesus, so therefore if you got John the Baptist born around the 24th of June, you then go 6 months later to the 25th of December, and there you go, you've got the birth of Jesus. Now in that video I also mentioned about how there was also a tradition of connecting the conception of Jesus with the Passover. That this has to do with Jesus having a perfect life, therefore he had a perfectly round life, and so that his date of conception and his death date were the same day. It's also to do with like the connection of the Passover lamb, Jesus being the lamb coming into the world, and that he is then conceived at the time of Passover. And so based on that idea, some people have also said, well, Passover took place on the 25th of March, and that therefore the Annunciation or conception of Jesus was on the 25th of March. You go 9 months later, it's 25th of December. Now in my video, I made a mistake in that I said that the Yom Kippur dating system was the earlier of the systems, and that the idea of dating the conception and birth of Jesus based on Passover, I said that was a later tradition, that was something that was added to. Well, actually somebody contacted me based on what I said in the video and corrected me that actually this was something that had been an earlier discussion. So I've got the information here, so I'll just read out what they had. So this person has sent me the idea that Jesus was born on the 25th of December. So the earliest dating of Jesus being born on the 25th of December that we can find written anywhere goes back to the church father St. Irenaeus, who himself lived between 130 AD and 202 AD. So this is around the middle of the 100s AD. And Irenaeus was the one who connected Mary's conception of Jesus with the Passover week, which had been celebrated early on. He used the idea that Good Friday was on the 25th of March, and that therefore you go 9 months later to the 25th of December. And he had this belief that Jesus was conceived and died on the exact same date. Saint Hippolytus, who also lived in the early 200s, also mentioned this in his commentary on the book of Daniel, where he discusses that Jesus was born on the 25th of December, and he uses a very similar method to Irenaeus, speculating that Christ was conceived around the same time of the year as he died. As I mentioned in my previous video, Hippolytus was also one of the earliest church fathers who used the Yom Kippur dating method, in which he said that, you know, John the Baptist was conceived around September 25th, you go on from there 9 months to June 24th, and then from there you go another 6 months to December 25th, and that's the birth of Jesus. So Hippolytus actually used both dating mechanisms. He seems to be the earliest church father that I've been able to find that uses both dating mechanisms. He bases the birth of Jesus on December 25th, based both on the dating of Yom Kippur to be the conception of, to determine the conception of John the Baptist, and also the dating of the Feast of Passover, and then using that to be the death/conception of Jesus. Sextus Julius Africanus in the year 221 also made the same connection of Jesus being conceived around the same time that he would die, and connecting that with Good Friday on March 25th, and then going 9 months to December 25th. Sextus Julius Africanus also used the Yom Kippur dating method as well. So Hippolytus and Sextus seem to be these first two church fathers that really used this dating of the birth of Jesus based on the date of Yom Kippur. But both of them also did use the Passover dating mechanism, connecting the conception of Jesus to the same time as the death of Jesus and relating them around the date of the Passover, believed to be March 25th. But that actually started with Saint Irenaeus. So I just wanted to correct my previous video and point out that the dating mechanism using the Passover to determine when was the conception of Jesus, and then from that going 9 months to determine when the birth of Jesus was, that actually is the earlier method used by the church fathers dating back to Saint Irenaeus. But within about 50 years you have both Hippolytus and Sextus using both the method that Irenaeus used and also the Yom Kippur method, which would later go on to be the more popular method, being the method used by church fathers like Saint John Chrysostom and others. It is interesting, maybe based on one thing I would note, is that based on the fact that Hippolytus and Sextus are only just after Irenaeus, it is possible that maybe Irenaeus may have also used the Yom Kippur dating method, but it's not written and recorded anywhere. Irenaeus is simply recorded as having dated Jesus being born on December 25th based on the Passover, and that being the date of the conception of Jesus. So that kind of is a follow-on from my previous video. I hope you've enjoyed this. Have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I've been your host, Reverend Jake Zabel. Goodbye and God bless.